Hello and welcome. We will be exploring some amazing content today. But before we proceed, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to share to your family and friends. What's good, everyone? We are back. Today we got some amazing clips, and I'm not gonna lie, some of these are wild. Let's get into it.
I'm here to protect the people of Puerto Rico's access to El Yunque. So as of this hearing, Puerto Rican families access these facilities at no charge, correct?
Yes, sir.
For El Portal del Yunque will go up to $10. The annual pass will go from $0 to $20, and the family pass from $0 to $30. And you are also proposing charges for La Mina Recreation Area, correct?
Yes, sir.
So to be precise, you are not raising an existing fee. You are creating a charge on access that is free. Is that correct?
Mr. Hernandez, yes, that is correct.
You are charging for something that is free. Is it the agency's position that access to public lands should depend on the ability to pay?
Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Chairman, so what we need is, in many cases around the national forest, not just in Puerto Rico, but elsewhere, we do charge for certain sites and for access.
But you don't charge for El Yunque right now, and you're proposing to charge. And I reject the agency's excuses that you need to find the money and that the people of Puerto Rico should pay for it. Because President Trump's budget is slashing funding for the National Forest Service by 75%. President Trump is spending $2 billion a day in a war in Iran, and he is pretending to spend $1.8 billion in a slush fund for himself and January 6th insurrectionists. You are asking the people of Puerto Rico to pay for a shortfall that Washington created, and that is not fair. The United States government has the money to protect El Yunque and secure the people of Puerto Rico's free access to El Yunque. What it lacks is the values and the priorities to do so.
There is a serious infrastructure problem failing the people of Puerto Rico as we speak. Tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans are in the middle of a water crisis that is so bad that the National Guard has been mobilized. Many people across the island, including in the capital of San Juan, have been without running water for days and even weeks at a time as the summer heat gets stickier and hotter. The lack of resources and desperation for water has called for some creative solutions, like giant milk tankers that have been sanitized and repurposed to make water deliveries. Many residents are being forced to travel to water filling stations in specific areas. They call them oases, and they rely on the water collected from these oases to cook and to shower and to flush their toilets. Local community leaders for poorer neighborhoods across San Juan say people have been hospitalized over the water shortages. Others are struggling to physically even access it.
I've been without water service for about 2 weeks. And
wow,
it's amazing how, or ironic, how we live in an island surrounded by water, and yet we have no water. And I've known of people who have gone close to over 40 days without water service. Very sad, very depressing moment in Puerto Rico.
Trump administration is hiding its plans for Puerto Rico. It is purposely putting out this story of some rumor that Trump called the island dirty and poor and that he wanted to trade it for Greenland, which at first looks like the classic, quarterly hatred towards Puerto Ricans, right? Just put them down in the media, say something bad about Bad Bunny, have a comedian call the island a piece of garbage. That's what it seemed like at first, until you dig deeper. Here's what they don't want you to know. The Biden administration allocated about $1 billion worth of funds to solar panels and batteries for about 40,000 Puerto Rican residents who were medically vulnerable, meaning if a hurricane hits Puerto Rico and the energy goes out, they're gonna die. Trump just gave that money that was supposed to go helping these people. He gave it to PREPA. It was supposed to directly help these people and be decentralized. And he went ahead and gave them administration over it. PREPA has been bankrupt since 2017. They had to privatize their energy because of corruption, because of mishandling and incompetence. They have been going through court proceedings for years now. It's almost been 10 years. It has reached $1.5 billion in just court fees, okay? These lawyers are charging like $800 to $1,400 an hour. So the politicians and the lawyers in Puerto Rico are just taking advantage while everybody else who really needs this money is suffering. I think this whole Trump wanting to trade Puerto Rico for Greenland, this whole story was the cover up. They didn't want you to know that he literally just fucking did this shit. 40,000 people are going to go without the help that they deserve. The Biden administration, the fucking Democrats tried to do something. If you are still conservative and Puerto Rican, if you are still a Trump supporter in Puerto Rican, I don't know how the fuck to get through to your head. Please, somebody send this to Trump supporter. If you have a Trumpero in your fucking family, fucking send this to him. Because they're robbing you, they're taking the money that's supposed to help you and fucking giving it away to lawyers and bureaucratics.
If you're not Puerto Rican, this video is not for you. Please swipe up. Respectfully. Now to my Boricos that are watching. After reading and watching everything that's happening on the island about the water, I ended up finding a lot more things that are happening about Ley 82. You know, just certain things that are being passed over there. Just a lot of different things. Anyways, yeah. The island and the culture is actively dying in front of us. And a lot of us don't even know about it. As a grandchild of the diaspora, yeah, I am literally a byproduct of colonization. If you are a grandchild or a child of the diaspora, Puerto Rican diaspora to be specific, you are also a byproduct of colonization. When you do research and you really dive deep into everything that's happening on the island and everything that has happened on the island, speechless, basically. This year would mark, or does mark, 116 years of us being colonized by America. So my question is, guys, what are we doing? What are we going to do? What can we do to resist everything that's happening? They're saying that the revolution will not be televised, it will be documented. But my question is, what are we going to do to start this revolution? How can we start this revolution? The only reason why Puerto Rico has a 58% approval rate of wanting to become a state is because it's literally dying. It's literally dying. Look at how many people are being displaced. And look how many rich people are moving in. Y la gobierna, she doesn't care about Puerto Rico. She wants it to become a 51st state. That's what she wants. And for those that do want to become a 51st state, it's only for funding purposes. Mind you, America doesn't even want, they don't want Puerto Rico to become a 51st state. So it's literally just like putting a carrot in front of a horse. America is trying to make Puerto Rico so dependent on it while also neglecting it. It's crazy. Again, as children and grandchildren of the diaspora, I think we have a duty to try to save the island. Some way, somehow, I don't know, but we need to do something. We need to do something very fast.
Ramona's a woman in her 70s who has been living in this little house on the coast in Puerto Rico her entire life, but now she's getting evicted. And she's been resisting the possibility of that eviction for many years, but now a decision from the Puerto Rico Supreme Court means that officers could be knocking on her door soon. Ramona has never held a title to that land, but collectively she says her family has been there more than 140 years. A previous owner of that land allowed her grandfather to be there, then it was passed on to her dad, and then to Ramona. She says that when the previous owner sold this land to the corporation that currently holds the title, he did so with the condition that Ramona's family and a couple others could stay there. But now the corporation wants to make this plot available for tourism development. And some activists say Ramona's case is part of a larger trend where lower class Puerto Ricans are being pushed out of the way so that people with more means can have prime and sometimes exclusive access to Puerto Rico's natural resources. This is what Ramona's wooden house looks like compared to the other houses on that coast. Last time I told you about this, some of you said whoever holds the title owns the land. Ramona needs to go, but there's one detail. In Puerto Rico, there's a law that allows someone who has been living in a place for decades to become the rightful owner of that land. That's the case that Ramona's lawyers wanted to make in front of the Puerto Rico Supreme Court, but for the third and final time, they have decided not to hear the case. Now Ramona's awaiting an order that would give her 20 days to leave. Some Puerto Ricans are saying they will not allow Ramona to get evicted. There's a group showing up to her house on Sunday to show their support. There's an activist already camping there. They're hoping more people join, and Ramona's family is saying they will fight till the end.
Check this out. Listen to this headline. U.S. territory wants to ditch America and rejoin Spain. And we're talking here about Puerto Rico. And who can blame them? Why the hell would Puerto Rico want to be part of the United States? This piece of shit president has treated Puerto Rico like garbage. His entire Republican Party, magnified, corrupted, fascist as it is, has treated this territory like absolute garbage. Why would they want to be part of this country? They're not offered statehood. They're not treated with any kind of respect. And here's the thing. There's a lot of states that don't even want to be part of the United States anymore. And more, I believe a secession movement in this country is going to pick up steam, because people are beginning to realize that this is not sustainable anymore. And why the hell would you want to be part of this country, whether you are a territory or whether you are a state that is not overrun with MAGA, cultists? If you are a state, a blue state, with intelligent, educated, decent, hardworking people, and you see what is happening to this country, falling under tyranny with this blithering idiot, wannabe dictator, and his cult in firm control of the Republican Party and the United States Congress, why the hell would you want to stay in the United States? This place is going to hell.
I want to make something perfectly clear to everyone from Puerto Rico or that has any ties to Puerto Rico. I have been to Puerto Rico many times, living in Florida, especially back in 2004, 2005. It seems like I was in Puerto Rico all the time trying to avoid hurricanes that were coming through Florida. And the people could not have been kinder, nicer. Just amazing people and an amazing place. And for the president, now the reporting is that he said Puerto Rico is poor and dirty. In no way does anything that man think, say, in no way does that represent how 99.99999% of Americans feel about Puerto Rico. He is on his own on that. Because anyone that has spent any time in Puerto Rico would laugh at that statement that this so-called president actually said out loud. The reporting is he called Puerto Rico poor and dirty, and what a disgusting thing for that man to say once again. But for everyone that has anything to do with Puerto Rico, the citizens, the people of the United States love Puerto Rico, and to hell with what our president thinks.
There's a move afoot to divide us. It's being done by Afro-Saxons and coconuts, people who would have us believe that there's a separate gulf between two nations, black and Latino. This is not the poem, y'all. I'm telling you, there's no difference between Beaufort, South Carolina and Ponce, Puerto Rico. You hear me? Too many of us grew up in the projects and did bids in the joint together to have anyone divide us on the basis of language. Mambo is black, merengue is black, R&B is black, joropo is black, flamenco is black, guaguancó is black, bomba is black. Be careful. They will come to you and say, be careful with those hordes of Spanish people. Fuck them.
The Negro kids, to the Puerto Rican kids, to the Chinese kids, to every nationality, listen to this. Wear your nationality like a flag. Be proud of it. Be proud you're Puerto Rican. Be proud you're Negro.
cause y'all ain't us. Y'all praise our food and our women, but God forbid we grow past all the expectations we're given. That's dangerous territory that leads to the regulations. They in the bias is blatant, no need for the speculation. Want a country united, they thrive in the separation. So we make our presence felt in every room that we invaded. Rita, Moreno, J-Lo, Benicio, Joe, and Dago, Mark La India, Joel, Put, and John are the ones that they know. From Broadway with Lin-Manuel to the Super Bowl with Benito. You act like we need the access. The fact is we got the cheat code. That's just a sample size of the Ricans. We can't negate every other Latino killing shit. Let's set the record straight. Selena, Sofia, Eva, Salma, Gloria, Frida, Pitbull, George, and Shakira, Balvin, Alfaro, Karol G, Becky G, Cardi B, Jessie, and Snow. Ain't no boundaries. There's no telling just how far we can go. Should we good for you when you profit, but bad for you when we grow? This country been black and white, but the gray is the shade we know.
Shame on us. These are Puerto Rican Americans. They are our problem because we acquired them in 1898. 4,000 people die. When natural disaster strikes, the victims are not Republicans or Democrats. They are Americans. You want to know why Puerto Rico hasn't been able to adequately spend the money? Because this president instructed FEMA during his first administration to block the disbursement of any recovery funds for Puerto Rico's recovery. And here we are, 9 years later, still imposing more restrictive requirements on the use of recovery money, which, as anyone can imagine, has created further roadblocks towards the recovery for an island that continues to suffer from lack of access to essential services like running water and a reliable electric grid. Shame on us. These are Puerto Rican Americans. They are our problem because we acquired them in 1898. And until the last day that I'm here, I will be fighting to make it right.
America is celebrating 250 years of independence this July 4th, but there's another number that rarely makes the conversation. 127. That's how many years Puerto Rico has been under U.S. rule since 1898. While the United States celebrates the birth of its nation in 1776, Puerto Rico's relationship with America didn't begin until more than a century later, after the Spanish-American War changed the island's future. Since then, Puerto Ricans have become U.S. citizens, served in every major U.S. military conflict, contributed to science and sports, music and culture. Yet the island's political status continues to be debated today. For many, July 4th represents freedom and independence. For others in Puerto Rico, it's also a moment to reflect on a very different historical journey and ask what those ideals mean for the island today. History can be celebrated from more than one perspective, and understanding both stories gives us a fuller picture of the past. What do you think America should remember about Puerto Rico this July 4? Share your thoughts in the comments and follow for more Puerto Rico history.
Once again, the governor of Puerto Rico proves that she is the enemy of her own people, and here's why. Today, she put it in writing. She's not a representative for the Puerto Rican people. She's here to govern for the elites, for the developers, for the investors, basically anyone that sees the island as property. She signed legislation that hands over the keys to developers to build illegally on protected land and to continue to displace Boricuas. What's clear is that this isn't leadership, this is a betrayal. I remember saying during her swearing-in ceremony that she was dangerous for the Puerto Rican people, and history didn't take long to prove me and others right. People need to understand just how dire this moment is for Puerto Ricans, where only 1/3 of Puerto Ricans are left on the island. Only 1/3. So that means that if we don't act, what remains will be unrecognizable. Freedom is no longer a theory. It is no longer up for debate. It's a necessity. And no, it's not a coincidence. It's never a coincidence that as they sign legislation to displace Puerto Ricans, military boots press onto Puerto Rican soil. Just like they did when they invaded in 1898, just the spoils of war. A war that really should have delivered freedom, but instead it locked us into more colonial rule. But the land remembers, the people remember, and it's time for people to wake up. This is a call to everyone that was pushed out by austerity, by disaster and neglect. Find ways to return. Organize your way back. Look into the past and see if there are still homes owned by your families, because what's left in housing here in Puerto Rico is not enough for those who want to return. We have to understand this truth fundamentally. What will end a Puerto Rico for Puerto Ricans is not those who stayed. It's those who have left and can never return. And this is about the most basic principle of a democracy. The people who live on the land should be able to decide for it. Puerto Rico is for Puerto Ricans, and it should be returned to them. Return to the people who tend to it. Return to the families who live in it. Return to those who left, but never forgot it. Return to those who love it, even though they were pushed away. This isn't about loss. This is about presence. This is about power. This is about the return. We are still here, and we're not going anywhere.
To all of you Puerto Ricans that voted for Donald J. Trump, take la chancla and go ahead and hit yourself in the head. Puerto Rico, once beset by power outages, it is now being hit with a severe water shortage. Thousands of Puerto Ricans are struggling with water shortages so severe that the governor of the U.S. territory has activated the National Guard, and emergency responders are fielding calls every day. Officials have not publicly pinpointed the cause, with the shortages largely affecting some areas in the island's most populated cities, including the capital of San Juan. This shortage has prompted many residents to be forced to buy potable water, spend money at laundromats, and haul heavy buckets up several flights of stairs to wash dishes, flush toilets, and take showers. Nearly 40,000 customers were hit with the water outages on the first weekend of June. That prompted Governor Jennifer Gonzalez to activate the National Guard, which began distributing water via 4 trucks with a capacity of 2,000 gallons each. Now, Puerto Ricans have taken to the streets to demand the resignation of Governor Jennifer Gonzalez because she is a MAGA Muppet. So for all of you Puerto Ricans that voted for Donald J. Trump, do you think Donald J. Trump is actually going to come in and help with federal money to help Puerto Rico fix their infrastructure? I want you Puerto Ricans that voted for Donald J. Trump to remember that during his first term, Trump wanted to trade Puerto Rico for Greenland. Back in August of 2020, a former high-ranking Department of Homeland Security official says President Donald J. Trump floated the idea of trading the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico for Greenland. Miles Taylor claims Trump said Puerto Rico was dirty and that the people were poor. Again, back in August of 2020, Miles Taylor went ahead and said that he actually said he wanted to see if he could sell Puerto Rico. Could we swap Puerto Rico for Greenland? Because in his words, Puerto Rico was dirty and the people were poor. Taylor also said Trump on occasions expressed deep animus towards the Puerto Rican people who are U.S. citizens. And when asked if he thought Trump was joking, Taylor said, "I did not take it as a joke." So again, for all of you Boricuas out there that voted for Donald J. Trump, take that motherfucking chancla and go ahead and just hit yourself over the goddamn head.
Puerto Rico is setting up to become state number 53. Así como tú lo escuchas, not 51 or 52, because Canada and Greenland, they have to come first. Así mismo dijo la gobernadora, la reina de la the queen of the Muppets herself, Jennifer Gonzalez. Not to be confused at any moment with Jabba the Hutt, aunque ya va pa Pizza Hut ella mismo. Entiéndase que she was speaking at the Puerto Rico Summit for Equality and Statehood. Some bullshit that her and her friends made up so that they can convince Congress that, hey, we want to become a state, por favor. Ella está más dobla y más virada. Ten cuidado, because I'm sure que si Trump la mira y la hace así con el pelito, le tira una guiñada de pelo, ella se va con Trump. Be careful, but hear it from her mouth herself.
I don't mind if it's after Greenland or after Canada finally getting as a state. The main difference is that we voted for it.
Qué vergüenza para el pueblo de Puerto Rico. Imagine having to say that that represents me, that represents us, that represents my country, that her party that has been fighting for statehood for the past 60, 70 years, now she's saying como que no, está bien, I understand, los blanquitos, Canada, yeah, blanco, los Greenland, now they need it first. I get it, okay, we could wait, we've been waiting, okay, you've been waiting, not me. You have been fighting for this, and now you're like, oh no, I'll take it from behind, Mr. Trump, do with me whatever the fuck you want to do. No, cabrona, save some fucking face at least. The fact that you're holding this summit and it's to include brand new members of Congress, she says all of this. I watched the whole thing for her talking 20 minutes. The things that she mentions is wild. She says that Puerto Ricans voted to become a state in the last elections. 58% of the people that voted. Mind you, 50% of the people that could vote actually went to vote in Puerto Rico porque nadie cree. And to add on top of that, they changed change el plebiscito in 2020, the options were simple. Do you want to become a state? Do you not want to become a state? Y la mayoría eligieron que sí, but it was closer, 54 to 40 something. This time in 2024, they made three choices: statehood, stay the same, independence. Fucked up people's minds, not to mention there's 400,000 less Puerto Ricans in those 4 years. Sí, 400,000 boricua se fueron pa'l carajo. As soon as she was done talking, guess what she was worried about? Fucking food.
Keynote speaker or the lunch?
The rest is on YouTube, and yes, it gets more and more embarrassing the more I talk. Una vergüenza cabrona.
Did you know the FBI spent decades secretly destroying Puerto Rican families from within? From 1956 to 1971, a program called COINTELPRO targeted independence activists across the island and mainland. They didn't just watch, they actively infiltrated and destroyed lives. FBI agents recruited informants from within Puerto Rican communities, turning neighbors against neighbors. They planted false evidence, spread rumors, and broke up marriages. The program specifically targeted the FALN and other independence groups in Chicago and New York. Agents would pose as supporters, gain trust, then gather intelligence on bombing plans and safe houses. Some informants were promised money and protection for their families in exchange for retraining their own people. The psychological toll was devastating. Communities that once stood together fell apart. When COINTELPRO was finally exposed in 1971, the damage was already done. 16 Puerto Rican activists received life sentences, many based on infiltrated intelligence. The program officially ended, but its scars remain in Puerto Rican communities today. Trust, once broken, takes generations to rebuild.
Antes que el 4 cantara en la loma, antes del surco y la voz del café, ya caminaba el espíritu taíno entre bambú, río claro y yagrumé. La luna alumbraba bohíos de palma y el monte hablaba con voz de coquí. La tierra guardaba la sangre primera que todavía vive dentro de mí. Tres raíces corren por mis venas, tres historias que el monte juntó. Indio valiente, tambor africano y el campesino que al monte llegó. Tres raíces bajo el mismo cielo, una sola sangre en el corazón. Cuando el 4 llora en la montaña, canta la historia de Borinque.
Wow, what an amazing show today. I want to thank you guys for watching and being here today. Remember to look out for more videos in the next few days, and I'm out. See you on the next one.